all new edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. Man, oh man, what a show we have for you. As on the Raw Ring Report, Bobby Lashley continues his escapades with Lana to humiliate Rusev, and Rusev tries to take the advantage by attacking Orton and King Corbin. We'll have that. Plus, on the SmackDown Ring Report, it's the first night of the WWE Draft where a whole bunch of WWE superstars wonder the fate of their careers on what show they'll land on. So we'll see on that. And on the AEW report, as Chris Jericho forms a new stable of talented wrestlers. You won't believe what his stable is called and what kind of damage they do and run ref shots on AEW. And on Hot Topics, where WWE announces 2 huge matches for the Crown Jewel event that you won't believe, that you already know. We'll have this moment. The Pro Wrestling Show starts right now. Hello everyone, welcome again to the Pro Wrestling Show. I'm your host as always, Kendrick Dix here on Connect. Thank you all for watching this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. But first things first, join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. So hey, thank you all for subscribing and watching last week's episode, which exceeded expectations. We thank you all for watching and continue on watching, and just don't keep on doing what you're doing. Subscribe. Tell a friend, call a friend, subscribe. The more people know, word of mouth, subscribe. Thank you all. Alright, let's get to the Raw Ring Report. Alright, on the Monday Night Raw Ring Report, kicked off with a bang as Randy Orton and King Corbin try to fight off Rusev, which started off the show. But Rusev got the upper hand by attacking Randy Orton and King Corbin. But Rusev turned his attention to Bobby Lashley, who had a very special message for Lashley, as this game of chess between Rusev and Lashley, and now Lana's involved after what Lana and Lashley did, making out in front of Rusev and humiliating the Bulgarian. Rusev kind of felt a little type of way as Lashley and Lana tried to get in bed together and laughing and saying that Lana was saying that Rusev, about she has his money and she's going to flourish and spend it on Bobby Lashley. Wow, Lashley's going to really get what's coming to him sooner rather than later. I don't want to be how Rusev did to Randy Orton and King Corbin. Expect he's going to do that to Lashley down the road. You might see that probably at Crown Jewel if Lana will be able to come or not, because they're going to have it in Saudi Arabia. So that's something that's going to be very interesting to see in the weeks to come on this whole situation. Also, Lacey Evans went against Natalya in a last woman standing match. These two women ain't no strange to each other, where they both gave their all, with Lacey Evans beginning before the match tried to instigate Natalya. Natalya tried to fight back, and Natalya went to the stage and powerbombed Lacey Evans through the table and got the 10 count, and Natalya won the match. And now Natalya and Lacey Evans feud is put to rest. We'll tell you later on what show Lacey Evans and Natalya will end up on during the draft on the SmackDown Ring Report and stuff. Also, WWE Raw Tag Team Champions Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode went against the Viking Raiders in a good non-title match, showing a strong finish for the Raiders. The Raiders defeated Ziggler and Roode and earned a shot at the Raw Tag Team Championships this week on Raw. So very interesting to see where will the Raiders finally get gold on the main roster. They are former Tag Team Champions for the NXT, but they relinquished the titles, but they never got beat. But you would have thought they would have got beaten by the Street Profits, but that's each story. That's like poor booking by Triple H on his part. But the Viking Raiders have a shot this Monday to win the gold from Ziggler and Roode. So we'll see on that matter. Also, Aleister Black, a SmackDown superstar, makes a rare appearance on Raw to take on the Bollywood Boys. Aleister Black made quick work and got the job done. So Aleister Black, a lot of people are saying that Aleister Black is more like a Paul Heyman guy, and see that Aleister Black will be reporting to Raw and be drafted to Raw sooner, probably when the draft on Monday night. So expect that to happen this week on Raw. Also, the OCs, AJ Styles, Anderson Gallows, went against Lucha House Party. Easy, quick finish. LC's dominated in the 6-man tag team match, making themselves get over. So the OC continued to dominate on Raw, as we know. Also, Miz TV with Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch, SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair, who newly won the SmackDown Women's title, appeared on the show and tried to use a game of upsmanship on when Charlotte was trying to brag about her 10 wins on Women's Championship, and Becky was talking about she wanted to make her championship meaningful. When she won it back at WrestleMania from Charlotte, that historic women's triple threat match with Charlotte, Ronda Rousey, and her for the Raw and SmackDown Women's title, Becky won both belts. Becky's still the Women's Champion for Raw, and she still holding on to that belt, but she lost the SmackDown Women's title this past summer. So Charlotte trying to egg each other off, but they had to put their differences aside to work together against the newly formed Women's Tag Team Champions, the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, in a Women's Championship showcase, which it was a good match. Good innovative moves from Becky Lynch and Charlotte trying to up each other. But at the end, the Kabuki Warriors using tactics sort of like what the Tajiri used to do with the Green Mist, or if you know back in the early 2000s, but if you know back in the 80s and 90s was the Great Muta and stuff, he would use the Green Mist back in the NWA, WCW days, and then the Kabuki Warriors using that same Japanese tactic for their wins and stuff. Win by means necessary and stuff like that. So, the Kabuki Warriors won, and I think Becky Lynch said she has unfinished business with Asuka, which that might be the case down the road. But who knows? Also, Ricochet went against Apollo Crews in a one-on-one match. Ricochet won. Ricochet could be one of the leading stars of Raw coming up in the draft. We'll get to that on the SmackDown report, but it was just quick match, nothing special about it. And at the end was heavyweight boxing champion Tyson Fury made an appearance on Raw to confront Braun Strowman and demand an apology from the Monster Among Men on what he did for the SmackDown premiere on Fox. Well, Braun came out there. Braun wasn't backing down. Tyson Fury wasn't backing down. These two behemoths, like they said, you can feel the tension. You can cut it with a knife between them two. Security tried to separate these two behemoths. The superstars tried to separate the two behemoths. They couldn't even get these two behemoths off each other. They was trying to pound and ground on each other until Braun Strowman and Tyson Fury decided they wanted to clash, and they did. And Braun had to be escorted by the superstars. Interviewer Charles Caruso asked Braun, like, hey, would Tyson get his apology? Braun said, no, he's in my house. And the funniest moment was Braun ran right back out to the ring and tried to get these hands to Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury wanted to get his hands on Braun. And we'll tell you later on Hot Topics on this historic event between these two giants on what's going on going forward. And hey, that's it for the Raw Ring Report. So hey, that's it. Let's move over to the SmackDown Ring Report. On the SmackDown Ring Report this week was the first night of the WWE Draft. Now, like I said, during the past, the WWE Draft has been unpredictable, uncensored, and you didn't see it coming. Well, this is no different, where Roman Reigns, representing SmackDown, went against Universal Champion Seth Rollins, who tried to avoid the situation, the elephant in the room, where Seth and the Fiend Bray Wyatt had that horrific Hell in a Cell match, and some of the fans thought the match sucked. It didn't live up to his expectations. The match had a match stoppage, which didn't make no sense at all. And a lot of people saying Mr. McMahon was laughing during the whole outtake of it. He didn't take it seriously till at the end. Well, hey, when you kind of like the owner of a company, you got a lot of tons of money, you kind of like think you can just stroke your finger with a pen. Hey, things can come in and hit you in the backlash when you don't be suspected. So the match back and forth between these former Shield brethren, minus who we ain't gonna manage him because he's in another promotion And we'll talk about that promotion later on the show. But Roman Reigns lost to Seth Rollins via disqualification due to the help of The Fiend. The Fiend came out there to get his revenge at Seth Rollins. He pulled Seth Rollins into the ring. Seth Rollins pulled himself out of the ring, trying to get some breath and stuff like that. The Fiend came back and tried to make a point like, hey, I'm done with you. I'm going to target somebody else. Well, The Fiend gave Raw some picks, and Stephanie McMahon came out there and announced that Raw picked it. The first draft pick was the man, Becky Lynch. She's going to Raw. A lot of rumors and speculation that Becky Lynch was going to move over to SmackDown, but she stays intact on Raw. I don't know why the announcer's trying to say she's moving to Raw. She was when she won the Women's Championship, the Raw Women's title, she was on both shows, back and forth. But when she lost the SmackDown title, she was made more exclusive on both shows, but she was made on the Raw Women's Champion, so she had to be on Raw because she's carrying that Raw title, the original Women's Championship. So, you know, hey, yeah. But Roman Reigns was the second pick, so Roman Reigns stays intact on SmackDown. It's just like, well, why are y'all drafting people was already, you know, intact on them shows? You got to redraft them again to say, oh, he's gonna be committed to SmackDown. She's gonna be committed to Raw. Stuff like that. Also, the OCs stays on Raw. Drew McIntyre stays on Raw. I don't know why they kept saying Drew McIntyre getting drafted to SmackDown. He's gonna be a future world champion. You mean a future Universal champion or WWE champion? But he's on Raw, so he's staying on Raw. And somebody made a good point. Like, I don't know who said that. They said 10 years ago, Drew McIntyre was at the same position he was in. I think it was JR and Tom Red Thompson that said that Drew McIntyre is still in the same position that he is where he was 10 years ago. And I kind of was looking back and I'm like, yeah, it kind of makes sense. They just don't know what to do with him because he was built 10 years ago, a future world champion. Now 10 years later, you build him as a future world champion. So it's kind of like, you know, I don't know if it's hot, cold, or what in the middle and in the needle. So also Randy Orton, the newest addition to the Raw roster. He's been on SmackDown for about 3 years or so. So Randy Orton getting refreshed up for Raw. Ricochet stays on Raw. Alexa Bliss stays on Raw. The Viking Raiders stay on Raw. Bobby Lashley, he's been on Raw. So I don't know why they trying to draft people that's been staying on Raw. They're just making it known. Nikki Cross, Kevin Owens getting drafted back to Raw. Okay. So on the SmackDown side, the newest additions are Sasha Banks, Bray Wyatt. I think he was already on SmackDown. He was back and forth on Raw and SmackDown. So it don't make no difference. At least Fox get the Fiend. I guess the Fox executives are a fan of this monster and this crazy Mr. Rogers tactic. So the Revival, new additions to SmackDown after they was Raw stars, but then the commentators said that they was SmackDown stars. No, they've been Raw stars. They had the SmackDown belts. It was inevitable for them to come over. So, you know, Lacey Evans, a new addition to SmackDown with her military background. Fox loved that military shit. They loved the NASCAR stuff and the American way and all that stuff. So Lacey Evans would bring Americana to Fox. Lucha House Party, moving to SmackDown. Heavy Machinery been on SmackDown. They said Heavy Machine moving to Raw, SmackDown. It ain't no difference. And then the people who was in the talent pool, they're gonna be unassigned, like Cesaro, EC3, a lot of list of Jinder Mahal, all of them. It's like, well, ain't them your future, and you worry about the people now, the bigger stars. It's kind of like WWE kind of like got too many people in the. It's sort of like this. You want me to buy the damn groceries and not do nothing with the damn groceries. That's what it look like. I'm buying all the damn groceries and you don't want me to cook shit. I got to cook something to buy the damn groceries. That's the intake I'm getting. Like, you got all these damn fruits, vegetables. You know, you go to a grocery store, you got the fruits, vegetables, the damn, the junk food, the ice cream, the pieces of frozen shit. You want me to cook all? You don't want me to cook all this shit, but I just brought all this shit. So, you know what I'm saying? You got a little bit thinking, a little bit wise, and then two, some of these wrestlers in WWE might want to like expand their reach. I get WWE is a paycheck and WWE is the end all be all and stuff is number one. That's but you got AEW, you got Impact. I don't see no Impact doing so, but they got a little work to do. They got good storylines. I can tell you that they got good storylines. But AEW, you know, they take it to the next level. A lot of people talk about AEW more than WWE now. But hey, to each his own. Also, King Corbin loses to Chad Gable. Chad Gable renamed himself Shorty Gable. So I guess Chad Gable gonna go with this new gimmick called Shorty Gable, and I think it's just a rib on him because he's short. And I would just, I guess, just give him some pizzazz and something. But hey, you know how that go. Also in 6-man tag team action, the New Day, before the match, presented the Cancer Women's Championship belts to the cancer survivors. Just say, hey, this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Good marketing ploy to, get WWE, get the breast cancer awareness out there, like get checkups, get mammograms, get treatments, telling women all, hey, try to check yourself and stuff like that. But the New Day won over the OG of AJ Styles and Anderson Gallows. So this might be the last time you might see these groups wrestle each other. This might be a recurrence. Down the road, the New Day gets drafted to Raw if that happens. But the elephant in the room was, why in the hell did Kofi Kingston didn't say nothing about his championship rematch? It's like he just lost last week, and then we're gonna move over to he back in the group, just dancing, jiggling, and doing whatever we want. He ain't gonna mention that I want a rematch. I lost within 9 seconds. It's just like you're killing the purpose, He need to be coming back saying, I need my championship back. At least they could have gave him that like a rematch. Brock was in the building. I know he was. But they didn't want to do that. They wanted to leave folks for expectations. And Kofi Kingston did not even try to mention he won a rematch. He's just so happy to be in action. Wow. Wow. Also, Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar, the newly WWE champion, cut a promo about what had happened after they got done with Kofi. That Cain Velasquez, who had met Brock Lesnar 10 years ago in the UFC ring, knocked Brock Lesnar out. And Brock Lesnar has a scar on his left side that he reminds himself that he got beat by Cain Velasquez and knocked the hell out. But now Brock Lesnar can, do his redemption story and try to beat the ghost, the monkey in his back of Cain Velasquez, of doing it to him. Now Brock has done that before with Goldberg, when Goldberg beat him twice and Brock had to get that monkey out his back and stuff and try to do what he can. He won the match because he overcome Cain Velasquez, and he held the press conference about the Crown Jewel event where Brock Lesnar will defend his newly WWE title against Cain Velasquez. Now, a lot of people saying like Cain is out of match. Him and Brock are equally matched, equally shaped with reaching arm sight. But Cain, not too long ago, was in something in Mexico with AEW, and people thought Cain was gonna join AEW, but Cain joined WWE, and now Cain wants the WWE championship, but I don't think he's gonna win it, but he's gonna put over Brock. But Brock, they saying Mr. McMahon is not a fan of Cain because his physique, he look like he has a dad bod. He just look like he doesn't work out and he got the abs and nothing like that. He ain't training. He works out, but he's not working out like how you ripped and how you jacked and stuff, how you have a body and stuff like that. Mr. McMahon is a fan of bodybuilders. He's not a fan of he's a fan of fighters, but he wants the fighters to be, how Brock's physique is. He wants Cain's physique like Brock. I don't know how far that's going to go within 2 or 3 weeks. At least 2 weeks, that ain't going to work. So, you got to put up what you can get. But we'll have later on Hot Topics on the other part with the Braun Strowman Tyson Fury on Hot Topics. And finally, The main event was the SmackDown Women's Championship was online as Charlotte Flair defended her championship against Bayley. And could Bayley recapture the SmackDown Women's title? Now, before the beginning of the match, Bayley had a new look, a new attitude, a new characteristics. Bayley came out with her old gimmick, and then Bayley had a hood on. She took her hood off, had some newer hair, shorter hair, and Bayley with the car floats started destroying the car floats and just left my lane. Bayley with this new attitude. Bayley hit counter move out there. Charlotte tried to recoup and rebound. But at the end, Bayley won back the SmackDown Women's Championship for the second time. And Bayley with this new look, this new attitude, I kind of like it. Because Bayley's showing a darker, edgier, I don't give a care, I don't give a fuck attitude. She's saying screw the fans. And then at the end, Bayley, I think she said, hey bitches. So Bayley kind of like trying to, pull a layer out. You know how you pull the onion on the layer. Bayley's trying to pull that out. She's trying to get people uncomfortable after what she used to do. And she was a good girl gone bad. So with that, Bayley kind of like taking it to another level. So we'll see. It's kind of intriguing what's next for Bayley being the new SmackDown Women's Champion. And will she be drafted to Raw? And what would that lead to the SmackDown Women's title? Got a point. Got a case. Alright, that ends the SmackDown report. When we return, we're going to have the AEW report. And we're going to have hot topics. After this, don't go anywhere. This is the Pro Wrestling Show. Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Show. I'm your host as always, Kendrick Dix here. Glad you can join us. But don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. You see right here, subscribe. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate you here on the Pro Wrestling Show for watching. Thank you all. And we make content for you, the pro wrestling audience, and you show the love for us, and we want to show the love back to you. But first thing first, join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. Let's get to the AEW report. Alright, on the AEW report, man, what a show AEW kicked off with. The first round of the World Tag Team Championship Tournament, where the number one seed, the Young Bucks, went against the newly young, talented duo of Private Party. This match was back and forth. Good match. Good high spots from the Bucks and the Private Party. Man, I thought for a fact that the Bucks was going to, have a clean sweep with Private Party. But Private Party kicked out for one fall, two falls. They kicked out 2 pinfall attempts. But at the end, Private Party pulled up the upset and pinned the Young Bucks and earned themselves into another round into the World Tag Team Tournament, shutting down the Young Bucks. Now, a lot of people are saying the Young Bucks would have been the number one seed, but the Young Bucks was trying to be unselfish and say, hey, we don't want to make it obvious that we're trying to win the titles. We'll win it down the road. We want to give opportunity for other tag teams. So a lot of people, I can tell you this, the Young Bucks are in control of the tag team division amongst itself. So I guess they looked at it like they're EVPs saying we'll wrestle, but we just don't want to make it obvious that, a lot of bookers used to do back in the day, like Fritz Von Erich, Bill Watts, Vern Gagne. They booked themselves as the champion, but they booked other people as champions, but they never booked themselves too heavily against themselves. So the Young Bucks saying we don't want to go back to that old 60s, 70s, 80s adage. We don't want to make it seem obvious. We own the company, or we running the ship, but we don't want to see like we're taking over the ship. It's all about us. We selfish. They didn't do that. So good job for Private Party advancing. They're kind of like the versions of the Street Profits. If you had a match like Street Profits from WWE versus Private Party from AEW. If you think about it, like a dream fantasy match or something like that. Alright, moving on from there. Chris Jericho comes out there with Sammy Guevara, Jack Hager, LAX, and he explained why they did that vicious beatdown to the Bucks, to Cody and Dustin Runnels. And Jericho cut a promo and talked about each individual dude, like he is the leader of the group, and Jericho talked about their attributes, what they bring to the group, and then when it got to the Jack Swagger, Jake Hager, he just said the people were saying we the people, and then Jericho said in a twisted, unconceded black rant, that shit dead and buried. And he was talking, we knew who he was talking about. He was talking about WWE Creator. He was talking about how WWE came up with the We the People chant, and what Jack Swagger and the fans resonate with it, and I guess it didn't work. And then if you think about it, another tidbit was soon to be president Donald Trump was at WrestleMania attendance where in New York, New Jersey for that, and Trump came up to Zeb Coulter, who was doing all that We the People chanting, We the People rhetoric, and said, "Oh Zeb, I like that rhetoric." And Zeb said, "Oh, this is just a gimmick." And he said, "Ooh, I'm gonna try that." And now look what happened. It came to that becoming Make America Great. So thank WWE for that, for the tidbit I gave you about the We the People chant. So Jericho buried WWE Creator and formed his stable called the Inner Circle. So Jericho put over all his group members and said they're going to be running AEW for the weeks to come. So with that. Also, Kenny Omega he was at ringside during the Jon Moxley Shawn Spears match, which, you know, it was okay. Former WWE stars beating each other up. So, you know, hey, that Kenny Omega, it's kind of like Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley will face each other at the pay-per-view, but then it's kind of like they teasing that they might team up against Pac and Shawn Spears, and which it will happen this week, where Pac and Shawn Spears will team up against Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley. I think yeah, Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley. That's kind of like a strange bedfellows match. So we'll see how that escalates going forward. Also, the women's match, tag team match where new women's champion Hero and Dr. Britt Baker went against Bela Priestley and some Japanese woman Hero was trained under Rio. So, you know, good matchup. But next week Rio, they won the match. But next week Rio will defend her women's championship against Dr. Britt Baker, so that should be a good matchup for AEW. Also, Darby Allin went against I forgot the dude's name. I know his name. He's from he's English, man. I know that. If you people know out there, you know. Darby Allin went against forgot the dude's name, but they had a street fight. For the winner receives a world championship match. At the end, Darby Allin defeated the English gentleman. I'll say English gentleman, and Darby Allin earns himself a championship match. Also, at the end was the main event where Jericho teamed up with Sammy Guevara against Hangman Page and Dustin Runnels. A lot of people say Hangman Page just Tony Schiavone said Hangman Page reminds them of a Barry Windham. You kind of get that familiarity because Hangman Page and Dustin Runnels world tag team champions in World Championship Wrestling, and it came full circle back on the Turner Networks again, where Hangman Page ain't Barry Windham's son, but he kind of familiar to Barry Windham. Looks similar, I guess, with Dustin Runnels against world champion Chris Jericho and Hangman and Sammy Guevara. At the end, Jericho then won. They delivered. The Inner Circle came back out there and delivered another beatdown. Hangman Page tried to get him some of Jack Hager and fed him to the back. So you expect them to have a program together. Jericho, LAX, and Guevara all beating up Dustin. Cole, the lights flashed out. Cody comes out there. try to give him some of Jericho with that meet in that world title match, but Jericho, the numbers game was too much. Jericho attacked Cody. Next thing you know, a lot of people, the Young Bucks came out there. They get beat up again. Then next thing you know, they just got cornered. They got Cody and his crew stood tall, stood there, and at the end, which was the funniest spot, was Darby Allin rolled down with a skateboard and attacked Chris Jericho. And Jericho didn't see it coming, and Jericho said, "I'm gonna get you. It's gonna be your funeral. You gonna have your funeral next week." So next week, the world title will be online in a street fight. Man, good AEW stuff. So that ends your AEW report. Let's move over to Hot Topics. All right, on Hot Topics this week, the Mae Young Classic is delayed until 2020. Many people are speculating that the Mae Young Classic was supposed to come later on this year, but hey, they had to delay it to 2020. Now, I will tell you this: expect Scarlett Bordeaux to sign to be in the Mae Young Classic, and also expect this more young lady, Shotzi Blackheart, has signed with WWE. She has shut down reports earlier this week that she had signed a WWE deal, but it made official when William Regal went to an event and offered her a WWE contract. So Shotzi Blackheart signed with NXT. Expect her being in the Mae Young Classic. Because if you don't know who she is, if you go Google her on YouTube, on Impact, you'll know the lady with the green hair. I'm telling you. Also, Leo Rush wins. A dream comes true for him as he won the WWE Cruiserweight Championship from Drew Gulak. Leo Rush coming back from bad behavior. Now he's coming back to win the Cruiserweight Championship with good behavior. And let's hope Leo Rush keep that going, because Leo Rush has said not too recently that he had mental illness going on with him. So Leo Rush getting his faculties together, and now the new Cruiserweight Champion and stuff. Also, let's see, both AEW and NXT viewership went down because of the MLB game. AEW was slowly down from 400,000. They were still steady at 1 million. NXT continued on going down from 100,000 when they was at 800, 900, almost 900. Now they was at 700 something. Now, my advice to NXT, the NXT brass, Triple H and all them, if you want to stop the bleeding, you need to move to Tuesday nights and replace SmackDown. If you know, I get, and then look at it too. People trying to take over that Tuesday night spot like it's crazy. You got people from the YouTube, people like NWA Power, which was a good show. I'll say that they went from a small budget and low budget and said, hey, we ain't finna be spending too much money we're gonna have in Atlanta. I would have had hope they would have done it at center stage, but they ain't had them in. When you look at the crowd, it was decent, but it wasn't big, it wasn't jacked. They wanted to present it as small, intimate. I get that. You know what I'm saying? I get it. I get it. But then when you look at AEW coming down with the AEW Dark, so they showing dark matches. So AEW with dark matches with the big arena, they say, hey, we're gonna be filming our pre-show matches and our dark matches. So you know how that go. And speaking of AEW, you won't believe that former WWE and TNA commentator Taz will appear for AEW as a guest commentator for the Philadelphia tapings. So Taz coming back to the booth. Taz said himself on his podcast he would love to come to commentary at the right time, the right place. He found the right time, right place, and it's gonna be AEW. But he's gonna be brought. Don't be surprised. Don't be shocked, especially you, Excalibur. I'm telling you right now. You see how they kept JR in his spot, and they got rid of Alex Marvez, and Tony Schiavone took his spot. Tony Schiavone said on his podcast that he felt bad about it. He went out to Alex and said, hey, I didn't want to take a spot. Alex said, that's fine. You're a legend. You know, hey, I ain't up to this, this commentator stuff because I'm a sports writer. And I'm telling you, Excalibur, they making room for Taz. So you better watch your chair. You better watch your chair, because if Taz got free leeway, I'm telling you, they're going to bring him. And Taz got enough time to want to come on Wednesday night and do commentary. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. You better. Because Taz is a good commentator. Taz just tell it like it is. Hell, if I had money like that, I'll tell Taz, hey, Taz, you want to come commentate? And I'll find you a play-by-play guy. Taz do it in a damn minute. I'm telling you. All right. All right. Also, Edge was spotted in Pittsburgh. There are rumors and reports that Edge might want to be cleared to come back to the ring. That's possible. Edge, a former multi-time world champion, retired in 2011, might want to give it a second go around. So look out for Edge. Also, Hulk Hogan wants one more match with you-know-who, Mr. McMahon. Now, they had their account back in 2003 at WrestleMania 19 in Seattle. So could history repeat itself again with McMahon and Hogan? After Hogan said he wants to have his back surgery again, he wants to get back in the ring one more time. Hogan had so many numerous back surgeries, hip replacements, and stuff like that he wants to get back in the ring again. I know you can feel that itch and the desire, but come on now, Hulkster. You want to be a legend and an ambassador, not no wrestling all through your life. Okay. Also, Cain Velasquez. We told you earlier on SmackDown Report that he will face Brock Lesnar for the WWE title. Cain signed a new deal with WWE for a multi-year deal, so it's probably like a 3-year deal. So congratulations to Cain. Also at Crown Jewel, Braun Strowman will take on Tyson Fury, the heavyweight boxer, one-on-one. So it's announced these two bouts, Cain versus Brock, Tyson versus Braun. This is a bout that we're going to show you. And don't forget that within 2 weeks' time, we will have the Predict the Outcome show for Crown Jewel. Once they get the card together, they can get the card together. They had that weak card for Hell in a Cell, but the Hell in a Cell Predict the Outcome show drew, and we thank you for that. It drew. We want to keep it going in 2 weeks' time for Crown Jewel. And also next week, Impact Wrestling will have their signature event, Bound for Glory, which is a packed card. But we're still going to have the Raw Report, SmackDown Report, because Impact's not on network television. They own a network, but they're not on a major network. Now, they got on Paramount, WGN or something like that, then we'll bring them back into discussion. But we're doing a favor for them with promoting their card and stuff like that, saying, hey, maybe they need to be on Connect. And hopefully I buy a network. Hopefully they connect people with buy a network or something and say, hey, a Paramount or something like that, and say, rename Connect, and just they be on Connect with the bigger reach. Also, Master P, you know who, Master P's rapper, singer, entrepreneur, announced that he brought House of Glory Wrestling from Amazing Red. Now you remember Amazing Red from the TNA days, we used them in the S Division. He brought it from him. Now many of you may remember Master P was in wrestling before. Remember when he came to WCW and had that group? They was going against the Red with Kurt Hennig group, the Redneck group or something like that, and they was pitting forth with them. And Master P did make an appearance. I remember it. I was like, damn, Master P on WCW. Damn, I was like 10 years old when that happened. But it happened and stuff. So all right. Also, Kip Sabian suffered a finger hand injury during AEW Dynamite Dark, so we will probably see this match this week, this Tuesday on Dark and stuff. So, also, not to forget that we had deceased wrestling legend Dusty Rhodes would have turned 74 this week, and Eddie Guerrero would have turned 52. So those legends will live on through the wrestling that we all love, and they're, it's tons of footage of Dusty Rhodes and Eddie Guerrero. So hey, good note to see. And finally, Alberto El Patron versus Tito Ortiz is set in stone. It will happen in December. So Del Rio, former WWE champion, Ortiz, a former UFC champion, battling out in an MMA fight. So hey, we'll see what the outcome be in that match. Okay. Thank you all for watching this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. Be sure to tune in next week when we have WWE Raw Ring Report, SmackDown Ring Report, AEW Ring Report, and predict the outcome for Impact's Bound for Glory next week. October is coming through, and it'll be here before you know it. It'll be Thanksgiving. So thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. I've been your host, Kendrick, saying so long, and we'll see you next time here on the Pro Wrestling Show. See you later.